The Sports Source is brought to you by Fast Frame. Turn your memorabilia into a work of art.
You are watching East Tennessee's first and only year-round sports talk show on television. This is The Sports Source with your host, John Pennington.
Good Sunday morning to you and Happy New Year. I'm guessing it's already been pretty good because Tennessee walked all over Northwestern 45-6 in the Outback Bowl on New Year's Day. Oh, wait a second, I forgot something. Maybe another reason for people to be happy. There we go. Got to get our. There. That probably got as much Twitter reaction as the Vols win. But a big win on Friday for the Volunteers. We'll talk Outback Bowl. We'll talk Tennessee basketball going up against Bruce Pearl. We'll have a segment with very special guests talking about Doug Atkins, the legendary Vol. Too much to jam into one show, so let's get started. First segment of this program brought to you by Phil Cobble Fine Homes and Land. No one in East Tennessee provides a better selection of homes than Phil and his crew. Take this beautiful contemporary lakefront home that they have available in Lenoir City. 5 minutes from Kingston Pike, got its own boat dock, deep water, beautiful modern home, modern design, and that is Phil Cobble Fine Homes and Land. You see their website, philcobblehomes.com, to find more homes. And of course, if you're interested in listing your home with Phil and his team, 675-7000 is the number to call. All right, want to welcome in the first round of panelists today. We have regular panelist Bob Hodge, abnormal panelist, irregular panelist, yes, Russell Smith from Fox Sports Knoxville, Radio 1340 here in town. Russell, good to have you here.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Former Vol Shazan Bradley's down there. Wait a second. VFL before you start sending me the emails. VFL, never former Vol. And then Chuck Cavalier is always with us. Guys, like I say, lots to cover. Let's just start with Tennessee. Came out kind of flat in terms of the offense. It really didn't get going. It wasn't like they were asleep. They got three uncharacteristic personal foul calls in the first quarter of the game, which was highly unusual. But boy, in that second half, they just imposed their will on Northwestern. I thought Northwestern's defense did look tough for a while, but when they got no help from their offense and they kept when the offense kept turning it over, Tennessee was able just to stick it down their throats in the second half. Your thoughts on the game?
So many good things to take away from the game, and go back to their defense. Their defense is a good defense. It's a quality bunch of guys over there for Northwestern. And I thought the most impressive thing to me coming away from the game was the way Tennessee did grind them down, and the way Tennessee's offensive line handled a good front seven. And I think that speaks very well going into next season, because all last year I was the guy who parroted, and I parroted it a lot. The offensive line's bad. The offensive line's bad. Will it show improvement? And I think coming away from that game, that's what really gets me excited about next year, is now you look like you've got an offensive line that can play the kind of football that gets you into things like SEC championship games.
With Jalen Hurd on a gimpy leg, too. Yeah. Maybe he should strain a hammy more often going forward. But, yeah, I mean, I think your boy Gruden said it during his interview that I think took up most of the second quarter of the ball game. You could tell just by looking, anybody could tell that Tennessee was much bigger, much faster. I mean, and it's been a long time since we could say that Tennessee just passes the eye test much more so than the opponent. Yep. You could just tell that Tennessee had Northwestern outmatched.
They've got the horses back. Shazan, what was your take on the game?
Well, I wish David Leggin and my offensive line brothers were here today. Our offensive line finally whipped somebody. Now, and we got a couple of penalties in the beginning, but you know, it's kind of like when you got your little brother and you teen him up just a little bit. That's what they were doing, and they were really sluggish at first. But once they got going, it was over.
So they were tenderizing. Yeah. By the way, I wouldn't want to be your little brother. Chuck, your thoughts on the game?
I thought it looked like a game that Tennessee won during the summer, and that's what Jalen Hurd said. And he kept thinking about those summer workouts and the price they paid. And then he got, you said he goes from being doubtful to being the game MVP, and that was just remarkable to watch. And it was like at the end, the game couldn't end soon enough for Northwestern and it looked like Tennessee could have kept playing.
Yeah, you had big plays all over the place. You had, Josh Dobbs could have been in the conversation for
yes.
MVP as well. His passing was more accurate in this game. Certainly the 2 touchdown runs. The first one was schemed up to where you had the tight end kind of pull over, acting like a fullback on that play. That was well designed. The second one's just a busted play where you see why he's your starting quarterback. Is he going to be Peyton Manning as a passer? No. But Peyton Manning can't do what he did with that run either. So then you had Evan Berry with the 100-yard interception return. If you're not going to kick to me, all right, I'll just take an interception back. It was a very impressive game, and we've talked about it this year. It used to be, gosh, this is the first time since the 50s or the late 50s that Tennessee struggled like this. Now we're turning it around. It's a lot of first time since something good is happening, and I want to run through some of these. Let's see. Let me put up the graphic first. All right, Tennessee is 13-5 over the last 18 games. 13-5. Now, there are other 18-game stretches where they may have done it, but what I did, I just went sequentially. So 18 games, the 18 before that, the 18 before that. You got to go all the way back to a 14-4 stretch in 2003 to 2004 to be in this ballpark. 15-3 between 2000 and 2001. You just haven't seen Tennessee play at a 13-5 clip in a while. Tennessee beat the 12th ranked team in the country by 39 points. It was the biggest bowl win in UT history, biggest blowout win in Outback Bowl history. Back-to-back bowl wins for Tennessee for the first time since the 95-96 seasons. Ironically, Northwestern was the second bowl victim then too. Biggest win over a top 25 opponent since 1990. Derek Barnett, the first ever Vol with 2 10-sack seasons, and he did it in his first 2 years. Is the second best rushing team in the history of Tennessee football. Evan Berry is the first Vol to have both a 100-yard kick return and a 100-yard interception return in his career. No other Vol's ever done that. And this is the first 6-game win streak for Tennessee since 2003. Only the 5th time they've had 6 in a row since 1998. And the thing is, I went back and looked for those who are saying, yeah, but they didn't beat anybody. The record of the final 6 opponents that they beat this year, better than the record of the 6 opponents they beat in a row in 2003. Let me ask you, this was the 30th anniversary of the Sugar Bowl. That was a 9-win team. There's 9-1-2. Won the SEC. That was a statement game when they beat Miami. Everyone knew Tennessee football was back. This wasn't for the high stakes that the Sugar Bowl was. But was this week the game that you look back and you say, that's it, the corner's been turned?
Boy.
No, I'm not ready quite yet to say that. I mean, and I see the comparison, but I think Miami was a much better opponent, and I think it was, to me, even a bigger stage. But I think you're very close to that.
I'm not trying to compare this bowl to the other, but what I'm saying is it a statement game like that one? In terms of, will Tennessee go on a run now the way that Tennessee did then?
I would say yes, and the reason being is because, Coach Jones has done an excellent job on keeping these boys focused. I mean, you go to a bowl game, it's end of the game, end of the season. Some guys going pro, some guys aren't even coming back next year. And they stay focused the way they were focused, and they stayed focused all year long. Hey, they've been knocked down a few times, fellas. And these guys got up, dusted the pants off, and they come on back in the game. I'm saying we're there.
Russell, they there yet?
Keep in mind, 1985, I think they won a championship, but the next 2 or 3 years were kind of up and down. They won a share of a championship in 89 and won it outright in 90, so it was a while until they officially came back.
87 was a 10-win season. They had 7-5, 10-2-1, and then the 5-6, and then the 2 SEC championships.
So, I mean, it remains to be seen. To me, this season was about getting back to the things that we used to take for granted. Beating Kentucky, beating Vanderbilt soundly, finally getting a win against Missouri. Now the next step is, can you beat the Floridas and the Alabamas, the upper echelon? Only then will Tennessee be back, in my opinion.
Quickly.
Yeah, I'm going to say that this game did turn the corner, but I mean, you're not fully around to the other side yet. I mean, you can see where you're going, but you're not quite there. But yeah, I'm going to say this was a corner turner.
You go from 5 wins to 7 wins to 9 wins in 3 years. I think you can say that the trajectory of the program has flipped.
Yeah.
And now it's just a question of how fast you can get to the destination. Can you get to the destination? But you've pointed in the right direction. So to me, again, I'm not comparing this game to the Miami win, but I think that this can be a statement game like that one. I do think Tennessee football I don't think you're going to be seeing
It's back
5.
on the national stage.
Yes, yeah. And ESPN's, they had a couple of ESPN announcers yesterday who were saying that, talking about Tennessee. Maybe the expectations were a year ahead, which we said all summer. And next year, this team should compete for championships. And that's when we'll start getting mean on Butch Jones. All right. Coaching changes, roster changes. Which are more worrisome? A lot of rumors out there. We'll discuss. Come on back on the Sports Source.